This week weather has brought neither rain nor men. And yes, as you may guess, our conversation is about men, or more specifically, about where have they gone. And I'm not talking about where have the good men gone, as in the weighty but important stuff like good character, good manners, good husbands and good fathers. No, this chat is more light-hearted and about where are the men of more or less my age. And while I might be talking about men, you can replace the gender with anyone you may be attracted to. I'm the Forest Fairy. Welcome to my corner of the woods where I'm rebuilding, revamping, redesigning a magical life and hopefully inspire you to gather your own fairy dust. Hello everyone, I hope you're having an excellent week. No, it's not raining either water or men here at the moment, but hopefully it'll warm up slightly for a cold water plunge in the ocean in a few days' time. I recently had supper with a few besties to celebrate the one's eventual move back to her home after the flood. Divine mussel soup was on the menu. We had harvested the mussels the previous day, my first time, and a thoroughly fun and satisfying activity that is now going to become a monthly fixture on my calendar. I'll make sure to take some pics and videos with the next outing. Anyway, there we were after supper drinking some delicious chai when the conversation turned to the one question I'm hearing more and more. Where are the single, straight, older than 50 men? We're not a group of man-hunting women, but rather relatively normal, single women older than 50 who are either successful in their career at the moment or had a successful one, intelligent, interesting, socially and physically active. And while we care deeply for each other, enjoy each other's company tremendously and our own, and often go on adventures together, we do feel the absence of the male vibe, whether it's just as friends or as life partners. Where are they? How do we meet and make new male friends? Now the question has led to some answers such as, oh, they're only interested in much younger women anyways. I don't believe in love anymore. Or to, many are probably happy in their single state in their own homes like me. Personally, I think they're still in their offices working. But do they never come out to play? Do they beam off to Mars in their leisure time? Or are there just fewer men than women on our planet? As I said, we're not talking about character as in good men, but of their actual location. We're here to talk about where are they, as I and seemingly others never come across this elusive species. Now it could be said, why are we surprised? We live in a small village where many of the people, I'm not sure about the stats, but a lot of them are older than 70, and where there are thus very few single, straight, younger than 65 men. But even when we go to events in the cities, attend weddings, walk the Camino, whatever, the sightings of this species are far and few between. Just a side note, this conversation is intended to be light-hearted. Please remember to be kind and considerate even if you strongly disagree with either my view or that of someone commenting below. The first place that is mentioned when talking about meeting men is dating sites, and it seems that the people are in two opposite corners of the boxing ring on this topic. Some say this is the new, now and the future, and this is how people meet. They contend that despite some really awful dates and people on these sites, they've also made some great friends and had some wonderful meetups. They agree that it's a question of keep on keeping on, as it's a numbers game. You know that saying that you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince? In the other corner are those who have either never done online dating or never will again. They seem to think online dating is on the decline and meeting someone in a physical capacity is more popular nowadays. Maybe this is a gender preference, maybe this is a certain age preference, who knows? I have a positive and a negative tale of a certain swipe right or is it swipe left dating site. The positive one is that my daughter and her husband met on the site and have been together for about 8 years now. My experience? Well, about 12 years ago, the kids felt I needed to put myself out there and enrolled me on the site. Apprehensively, but excited, I started swiping, only to be faced with a man from my previous life when I was still a couple. He and his wife were good friends of ours, and I knew him to be still married. However, his bio, he said he was looking for some fun. And instead of just liking his profile and giving him the shock of his life, I promptly left the app. My other crack at the organized dating scene was with a modern version of a matchmaker. Her company's advertising assures one of meeting high-quality professional people. So I made an appointment, got dressed in my best as if for a job interview, and off I went, very nervous. In her hands she had a list of, she said, over 200 potential partners. After I filled in a form with my preferences and personal details, she reviewed it and went through her list. As she progressed, she jotted down 3 names. Once through the list, she started again, and this time, as she progressed, she crossed out the names and then proceeded to tell me she didn't find a match and couldn't assist me. Well, needless to say, I was devastated. On the way back to the office, I phoned a good friend and berated her soundly for not telling me that I was this unsuitable, unmatchable woman. I won't lie, it did knock my confidence, and it was only years later that I realized the company and probably the persons on the list were more conservative and traditional than I had presented. Maybe I dodged a bullet there. Regardless, it seems there are equally success and horror stories when talking about online dating. COVID, I feel, put paid to the chance of at least regularly interacting with men at work. During and after COVID, many companies took up the call that working from home is the new normal, and while many have since ordered their employees back either full-time or at least for a couple of days a week, others have embraced the concept of allowing their employees to work remotely. So meeting at work became a remote, so to speak, possibility. But COVID didn't just influence the workspace, as we have, as a collective, become more reclusive, I think. We joke about tracksuit pants with a neat blouse for Zoom meetings, but when I left the traditional corporate environment, it was easy to swap the blouse for the tracksuit top and happily swan around my home for days on end without ever going into the out. Some say that it just became easier to be alone and our social lives took a bit of a dive. Although, to be quite honest, I found that the city to be far lonelier than my little village. I now have a much livelier social life and I'm often out and about, going on adventures and meeting up with friends and family. But alas, no men. Now, very tongue-in-cheek, I say, who needs enemies if you have friends and family? Do your friends and family make your circle bigger by bringing in new male friends? If so, you are very lucky, as the besties I spoke to seem to agree that no one ever introduces new men to their circle. And I'm guilty as well. This may be because they don't know any appropriate men, see they've disappeared, or they just don't meet the very basic 3 criteria. It could be because there's a chance that introducing someone to someone else could backfire badly. Joining the clubs, the groups, the societies you're interested in is one of the best ways, I think, to increase your circle with friends, regardless of gender. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying join every group on the off chance of finding a man. No. Join and participate in the things that interest you. Go hiking with a hiking group, attend quiz evenings, go to book launches or wine tastings. Things that take your fancy. Not sure if the knitting or crochet club will get you meeting new men? But do it anyway if you love this. Our little village has a lovely, lively crochet club, the Happy Hookers. In other words, just get on with your magical life. Even if you don't meet new male friends, at least you're having a blast. One older but very funky and with it colleague who had been married a few times once said, meeting someone special usually happens in the most unexpected places at unexpected times, like waiting in the queue at the post office. While standing in line for anything has really become a very rare occurrence in our digital world, there is a lot of truth in her advice. The meeting of a new friend or a life partner can happen unexpectedly while you're just getting on with your life. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Don't let us wait around. Let's go out there and live our best life. Authentically, full of love, laughter and fun. And yes, there will be challenges and sad days, but the good moments and days will make up for this. I recently heard this incredible truth, and I can't remember who it was, but she said, don't become the best version of you, but become your most favorite version. And this version, I believe, will attract the good friends and partners. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead and sprinklings of fairy dust as we continue redesigning a magical life. Until next time, goodbye